Now, believe me when I say I've done multiple runs on this Pokemon, and I can assure you, I've got some pretty amazing recommendations you can't afford to miss out on. Before making this video, I did a lot of research, studied the stats, watched fellow gamers' gameplays with GREEDENT, and even compiled recommendations from pros and amateurs. After looking into all these facts and ideas, I decided to give this Pokemon test runs, and some pretty astonishing results came out. So I thought that it would only be fair if I shared some of my discoveries and brilliant builds with you guys. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Geeky Gamer. Today's video is going to be a ride because I've been thinking a lot about GREEDENT. And I've realized this Pokemon hasn't been stressed enough, especially since I see a lot of players using it at minimal potential. So that's what led me down a journey of studies and discoveries, trying to figure out what really is the best build for GREEDENT. For anyone wondering who this cute, ever-smiling Pokemon is, it is GREEDENT, the squirrel-looking Pokemon with a tail the size of its whole body. Although it's designed to look cute, it really reminds me of the movie Happy Death Day, where the murderer wears a mask with a very similar smile that will definitely leave you with nightmares. Even the happiest smile can be creepy. Anyway, we're not here to talk about a character from a horror movie. GREEDENT is a Pokemon that falls under the Defenders category. So you would most likely be building it as a tank and jumping in front of the attackers and supporters. Other than that, defense Pokemons are primarily stationed around the base as a protective strategy. But that doesn't mean they can't push forward. GREEDENT, in this case, is actually amongst the few defenders who could actually infiltrate the opposite team's base. Why? Thought you'd never ask. As a tank, a defender, a buffer, and a healer, it's the kind of Pokemon that would send other Pokemon running, as they would feel it's too much of a hassle to bother with. Now that we're done with all that, let's take a look into all that GREEDENT has to offer. The best build, held items, battle items, and more. Let's dive right in. GREEDENT has quite an exciting gameplay for those who haven't used it yet, or are still trying to figure out if it's worth buying. The Pokemon is better described in my own words as a giver or taker. That's because GREEDENT's efficiency is based on how many berries it can carry. Each berry can reach any Pokemon. And when I say any Pokemon, I mean any Pokemon. Be it your Pokemon, your teammates, or the enemies, as long as there is a berry on the floor, it's anyone's game. On that same line of thought, you could also steal the enemy team's berries when dropped by a GREEDENT on their team. That's not all. No, it's not. Each Pokemon that are lucky enough to get these left-behind berries heal their HP. But once a Pokemon who isn't GREEDENT has full HP, they can't steal the berries anymore. Only GREEDENT can continue getting these berries even at full HP. To increase the damage and overall efficiency of your skills and movesets, you need to stack up on these berries. Yes, you heard that right. You need to drop them and eat them. You get up to 5 stacks, and at its highest level, you would be dealing massive damage for every move you use. You probably have already figured out that using your moves before stacking isn't the smartest thing you can do in a Pokemon Unite battle. Now that we know how that works, let's look at GREEDENT's moves and see how they perform. GREEDENT, like every other Pokemon in Pokemon Unite, has a combined list of skills and movesets. Let's go over them. Tackle is the first move you'll want to go with. It's an attack move that has a dash attack type. Nothing too special about it, so let's jump right on to the next one. Belch, one of the best moves you could get on this Pokemon, a true damage scorer, is a ranged attack with 5 seconds cooldown. And at level 7, the damage range increases. Bullet Speed is a machine gun sprout with a ranged attack that has 5 seconds of cooldown. At the maximum level, it can score damage amounts that go up to 5,000. And finally, we have the almighty Unite Pokemon move, Berry Belly Flop, which enables you to spam Belch like there is no tomorrow. Like every other Unite move for Pokemon, this skill is a way to effectively outperform your opponents, and it deals damage in thousands. There are also the standard attacks and passive attacks, but enough about that. Let's look into the builds that really give Greedent an edge in battle. Now, of course, I know many of you may have a different opinion on what the best build is, and I really can't wait to share mine with you. Isn't that the point of today's video? You can have a look at my builds and decide what's best for you. Tell me yours in the comment, and I'll personally reply to show my appreciation. Now, as I said, I did some considerable research and compared many builds for this Pokemon. Figured out that a lot of builds work on this Pokemon, and limiting it to one would be selfish on my side. So here's the list. The first one I'm going to be touching down on is the Burn Through build. For this build, you'll want the following held items: Muscle Band, Focus Band, and Buddy Barrier. Regarding the moveset, go with Belch and Stuffed Cheeks. Last but not least, go with Eject Button for your battle item. This build has a great defense and offense layout, which has you using your tackle in the early moments of the match for attacks while leveling up to get the Stuffed Cheeks. Once this is done, you then start stacking up on your berries using your Stuffed Cheeks repeatedly so that you can tackle twice and gain HP from the berries you leave behind. Once you've gotten Belch, your damage output skyrockets massively, letting you deal consistent damage while farming to get your Unite move. Once your Unite move is ready, you can use it, sticking closely to your allies at the front line and raining havoc upon your enemy's team with Belch. As we all know, Focus Band provides defense stats that pair well with Greedent, making it lethal, all while still being a tank. Muscle Band boosts its damage and speed, which means you can stack up on berries faster. Buddy Barrier also syncs well with Greedent, since most of its efficiency comes from Unite moves, and Buddy Barrier can help out with that. The Eject Button is always great for a good escape or a sneak attack. 5-star recommendation. My second excellent build is the Energize build. This uses a sweet combination of held items: Focus Band, Energy Amplifier, and Buddy Barrier. For the moveset, this one goes with Belch and Covet, and finally, the Eject Button again. Now, this build is best for crowd control. It makes you the center of attention for your team. You would be heavily focused on providing crowd control to your team through Covet, while dealing massive damage with Gunpowder Thrower Belch. As mentioned before, the Focus Band and Buddy Barrier keep Greedent well defended and heighten its efficiency. As for the change of Muscle Band with Energy Multiplier, this held item does wonders for your Unite move, which helps you spam Belch all over the place. My last recommendation for the best Greedent build is the one and only Drop 'em Down build. This build includes Assault Vest, Focus Band, and Buddy Barrier for the held items. For the moveset, you'll want to go with Bullet Speed and Stuffed Cheeks. And finally, a little unconventional, Full Heals for your battle item. Now, you probably see where I'm going with this. And yes, you're right. It's a great defense build with the perks of utility. The utility comes from Bullet Speed, which slows down the enemy's team. The Stuffed Cheeks is best for stacking, and essentially best for healing. You would need to stick close to your enemies and your teammates, because with your buffs and debuffs, you'll carry the team. That said, you also need to survive, since most of your team will depend on you, so Full Heal makes sure you're safe from target stuns. Now that you've seen my list of best builds for Greedent, I want to add one more thing. The obvious best held items for Greedent are Muscle Band, Focus Band, Energy Multiplier, and Buddy Barrier. You can't go wrong with the Eject Button for battle items, but Full Heal also goes a long way. But there is more. You also need to pay attention to what Pokemon you team Greedent up with. A good team for it would have Eldegoss, Blissey, Mr. Mime, Pikachu, or Cramorant. Why? Let's save that for another video. So, what do you think about my best builds for Greedent? Is it a yay or nay? Let me know in the comments, and while you're here, check out my best builds for Eldegoss. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my future uploads. That said, you've been watching Geeky Gamer, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye, geeks.